Back again. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Beat 139. I'm Doc.
I'm Don Vito. How y'all feeling? Hump day, Wednesday, nice day, a lot of rain. Wish it would stop, but hey, we got life. We're here, right?
That's right.
So we want to welcome our first guest for the night. Good brother, came all the way from Newark. Brother Abdul Haqq Muhammad. What's up, brother?
I'm good, brother.
How you doing, brother?
How you been, man?
I've been very well, holding up, these perilous and uncertain times, thanking Almighty God, Allah for health, sound memory, sound mind, sound body. So you can't ask God for more than that in these days. So very honored to be here with you, brothers. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate it. But we had you before, and
Sure.
it was a lot of light you gave. By you being young and the level that you reach inside the temple. A lot of people inspired by that interview.
Well, we're taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that the duty of the civilized person is to always teach the uncivilized people who are savage civilization, righteousness, the knowledge of themselves, the science of everything in life, love, peace, and happiness. Scripturally, the Bible says in the book of Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, the 18th verse, it says, if I say to the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked way from his wicked ways, that same man will die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hands. So those who know are always responsible for those who don't know. There's another scripture which says, which man having light will hide it under a bushel basket. And I think in the black community, a lot of times we suffer from what is called bystander apathy. And bystander apathy is when people are less prone to move in an emergency situation because they see other people around. And they think that because other people are around, that they'll intervene. So they dissolve themselves of responsibility. So again, as a student and follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I'm obligated to share what I've been given and to be an example and a light for those who are in the darkness.
So by you saying that, I just caught a little glimpse of George Floyd when you just said that people expecting other people to move and they won't move. Like, it seemed like that happened with George Floyd.
Yes, sir.
Like the only one, that girl when it took that video, the case could have went, solid,
Yes, sir. I think because, brother, that, as a community, we lack a certain level of empathy towards one another, a certain level of concern towards one another. And you can just see it in our social interaction. In our communities, a lot of times, we'll just walk past each other and we won't even speak. How you doing, brother? How you doing, sister? A lot of times it's out of fear, you understand, it's out of anxiety because of the climate that we live in the environment. But it's just those small things, you understand, that lead to big things. So we just start speaking again. You understand? How you doing, brother? How you doing, sister? Just waving and nodding at each other. I think that will contribute a lot to us helping each other when we see each other in turmoil or conflict. But that has happened too often in our community. We see our young women being brutalized and attacked. We just stand back idly, we pull out our phones, but we won't intervene and interject. And as men, we gotta be men. We gotta stand up. You understand? Even at the cost of our lives, because it's our duty. We obligated. There's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. But then there's another saying that the child that is not embraced by the village will burn the village down in order to fill the village's warmth. And we haven't embraced our children, and that's a major factor when it comes to violence and why our children do what they do, and why they behave the way they behave. This violence that we see in our community, it didn't happen in a vacuum. You understand? A lot of this stuff is transgenerational, meaning it's been passed down from one generation to another. So the violence that we see in these neighborhoods have been historically violent. It's not a new thing, but I think as men and as concerned citizens, we just have to stand up, and begin to stand out and do more. Why? Because when there's a beef or there's a conflict going on, everybody's involved. The whole community's involved, whether you know it or not, because as they say, them bullets don't have a name on it. So why don't you go and attack it before it attacks you? You can't wait till something happens to somebody in your immediate circle. Now you want to do this ambulance activism. You understand? Because now you are directly affected. No, when something happens to somebody in your community, the whole community has to stand up and get involved. You can't sit back idly and wait till your mother get knocked in the head. Now you want to go march for protecting mothers. Well, you should have one and did that already. Why? Because you got enough love and concern and compassion for your people.
But I'm glad you said that, because only time the community come together when the cops do something. I see the community come together when if a cop is wrestling with someone. But when it's black on black crime, the community, you don't hear the rappers, the athletes, they don't say nothing about when we killing each other. But so when the police say something, the whole country goes crazy. I mean, not say something, well do something. They don't have to kill a black person. Right. If it's on video where they tasing a black person, that will go and black people go crazy. But they don't say nothing when we gun each other down. Not only that, when kids getting killed. Like look at in Chicago when the guy ran up on the guy and he had a 7-year-old daughter. He lived and they shot up like 9 times. And then there's a baby in Brooklyn, 1-year-old, got killed last year. But you don't hear the community that go uproar for that. They only go uproar the police. Police, like I said, don't even have to kill nobody. They could smack somebody and it'd be a big thing.
Well, you know, I think that one of the reasons that we have not been able to address and minimize and ultimately stop the violence is due to oversimplification of the violence. And what I mean by oversimplification is how we depict and describe the violence while excluding vital components. So we robbed it of its complexity. This is a very complex issue, but behind every behavior there's a need, and behind every need there's an emotion. So what is the need and the emotion behind the fratricidal conflict specifically that we see in our community? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad have taught us through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that the long-term need is a need for knowledge. He says because anyone who does not have knowledge, they are savage. He said that a savage is a person who has lost the knowledge of themselves and who is living a beast life. Consequently, one of the things that separates man from beast is knowledge, because knowledge feeds the development of the human being so that we can grow and evolve into divine and become one with our Creator. So it's not one's maleness, one's femaleness. It's not whether you black or white, brother. It's our growth and reflection of knowledge that distinguishes us from the lower forms of life. Then you say, well, what is the emotion behind the violence? It's hopelessness. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught us that hopelessness is the mother of violence. And the social scientists say that hopelessness heightens what they call a death instinct. And your death instinct is a person's unconscious drive to die, believe it or not. So once we begin to satisfy the needs, you understand, that our people have, then we can begin to adequately affect the behavior that we see. But I once heard a brother say that everybody talks about the mud, but they don't talk about the clouds that produce the rain. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, he said, do we have problem children or do our children have a problem? He said, and if our children have a problem, they're not the cause, but they are the effect, because children do what is natural until they learn what is normal. So you got to ask, well, what is the norm for being a black child here in America? According to the Children's Defense Fund, they say that every 4 seconds in America, a black public school student is suspended. Every 53 seconds in America, a black public high school student drops out. They say that every 6 hours in America, a black child or teen is injured or killed with a gun. See, that's the norm. That's the type of dysfunction that our children are being reared by. And you're not going to solve this problem by, this is not event-based activism. This work is very tedious. You have to always be on the ground. You have to always be in the trenches. You can't only be there when something catastrophic happened, and then there's a lot of sensationalism. You understand, like our 13-year-old brother that was killed. That's the norm in America. So according to every town gun violence, they say that over 1,800 children and teens are killed a year in America. And they say that black children and teens, the leading cause of death for them are firearms. That the CDC say that the leading cause of death for black men between the ages of 1 and 44 is homicide. And the second leading cause of death for black women between the ages of 1 through 19 is homicide. So This is our norm. This is our societal and our social norm, particularly as a people. So we can't act like that this has not been going on historically. You understand what I'm saying? So what we need is a culture-specific treatment. Culture-specific treatment. Treatment that's specific to our culture and our condition.
Yeah, I hear you, what you're saying. That's true. But what I'm saying is, how come no one in the media, why they don't go as hard with the black on black crime like with the police? Like you see activists, for instance, when they go police, they go on full reign. But if a 3-year-old kid get killed, you may just see 10 people behind the head of the police department, and they speak on that, and it come and go. You don't hear no celebrities. Do you guys try to get celebrities or anything involved? Because sometimes I think with the youth, the youth would probably listen to them a little more.
Well, I think, again, brother, it's the sensationalism of it all. And it's not that the community is not reacting, but the reaction of the community when a black person kills a black person doesn't get the type of press or news coverage that a police killing a black person gets. So it's not that people are not doing things and that people are not upset and that they are not disheartened, you understand, by the inexcusable behavior that we do towards one another, but it doesn't get the type of press coverage, you understand, that a police killing us gets. According to Rutgers, and I think it was Washington University, they did a study, and in this study they said that police killing was the 6th leading cause of death for black men in America. And that the number 1 leading cause was accidents. You understand? Accidents. And again, historically, this has been our lot in America. Violence is not anything new to us or our community. Police brutality is not new to us or our community. This has been happening since we've been here. You understand? So Victor Hugo said, according to what Dr. King quoted, that if the soul is left in darkness, sins will be committed. He said the guilty one is not he who commits the sin, but he who creates the darkness. So we have been birthed into an environment, a circumstance, and a situation that many of us had nothing to do with. It was like this when we were brought here. And the violence that you see happening in our community is transgenerational. It's passed down. And oftentimes there has never been anybody to interject, intervene, and interrupt the violence that we do toward one another. You understand? Or if they have been intervening and interjecting, they haven't done it on a mass scale. Because those who want to help are always outnumbered. You understand? There's always a few of us. But, you know, by God's grace, we're going to keep working and we're going to keep moving. I say this to you and everybody in your listening audience. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that if you don't know what was, you can't know what is, and you'll be ill prepared for what is yet to come. So historically, Europe, England and France was in war for 110 years. They was going back and forth. You understand? So if they can come together and settle their differences, I know we can come together and settle our differences. And I believe it'll happen. We just got to continue to work.
See, the only thing that I see that, like you said, historically, this has been going on. You see it more because of social media. You see it more because there's cameras everywhere. This has been going on. We just see it more because there's cameras everywhere. There's social media. People got their cell phones. So you seeing it more. But what I'm saying is that what made it heightened is the fact that COVID, when we all had to wear the mask, see, people figure they can get away with it now because you could put the hat on, you can put the hoodie on, you can put the mask, all you see is my eyes. So how they gonna know it's me? How they gonna know it's me? I can get away with that. Huh?
And you can walk around like
that. Right, you got a pass right now. If you did, look about Trayvon, right? When Trayvon had the hoodie on, they had a problem with that, right? Because he had his head covered.
Right.
And they figured he got his head covered, he up to something. Now you have your head covered, they don't care. You can put your hat on and you got the mask. They not thinking about that hoodie no more, man. It's the COVID with the mask. These kids think they can get away with this stuff. This stuff that's always been on their mind, but they ain't want to get caught. They don't want to go to jail. They have cameras.
Yeah.
Yo, oh, we can wear the mask and get around the camera. We can pull a hat down real low. How they gonna know it's me? And you know, that's what me watch, because I watch the news all the time, and I listen to speakers. I see Aisha on the news all the time. She, you know, she out there working all the time. Brother Abdul working. But these kids think they can get away because they can cover their face with the mask. You know, because they know the cameras are there, but that camera ain't gonna know it's me. I got the mask on. So I feel like maybe when finally these masks come off, maybe I'm wrong, it'll go down a little bit more. It's not gonna solve the problem, no, but the fear of getting caught or going to jail will be like, oh, we can't wear the mask anymore. So, you know, I gotta be cool. I gotta do it a different way, whatever, you know.
Well, you see, brother, I think that has contributed to what we see. But ultimately, brother, our people live in what they call a pain paradox. And a pain paradox is when a traumatized and suffering people engage in behavior that brings more pain while simultaneously trying to reduce pain. Our people are in pain, brother. And particularly our children. Our children feel neglected. You understand? They come from dysfunctional homes. The black community is dysfunctional. You understand? And I think when they look around and they don't see the hope that children long to see, again, it produces something in them. And I think that what we see in terms of the violence on the back and forth is just the manifestation of the black community's failure. You understand? To build a sustainable, proper neighborhood for our children. Now, again, we have had strong leaders, dedicated teachers working on our behalf. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught us that no leader can want for the people more than the people want for themselves. No leader can want for the people more than the people want for themselves. So if you're a Christian and Jesus wants for you more than you want for you, you're going to be a Christian with nothing. If you're a Muslim and Muhammad wants for you more than you want for you, then you're going to be a Muslim with nothing. You understand? If you're a Garveyite, you want more, Garvey want for you more than you want for you, then you're going to be a Garveyite with nothing. You understand? So self-improvement is the basis for community development. But how can we be men talking about we can't control 12 and 13-year-olds? I don't understand that. How 12 and 13-year-olds telling us what to do, where they gonna go and where they not gonna go? See? Right. Because as men, we have failed. We have failed ourselves and we have failed our women. You understand? But we have to get up and be men. We cannot allow our community to be held hostage. You understand? By children who are not fully developed psychologically, emotionally, morally, and mentally. You understand? We have to be the guides. We got to say, no, that's wrong. Don't go that way. We have to do that. But in order to do that, it takes love, it takes strength, and it's going to take courage. And it takes knowledge and insight. So as men, when we actually become men again, then our children will be children. But at this point, they can't. They have something called a parentified child. And a parentified child is a child that have to raise themselves. You understand? So we know that the black man is in jail in massive numbers. I forgot to mention this. An article came out in the New York Times on April 20th, 2015. And the name on the article was, "Where Are All the Black Men?" And in this article, they said that there are over 1.5 million black men missing in America. 1.5 million black men missing in America. They said, well, where have they gone? They're either in jail or dead. Or in, yeah, you understand? They were saying that black women between the ages of 25 and 54, they outnumber black men by 100 to 83. For every 83 men, there's only 100 black women.
That's crazy.
See, that's genocide. You understand? That's genocide. And it's we're suffering from that because of the fratricide, us killing us. So we gotta ask ourselves, what can our unity produce? We have to come together. We have to. We have no other option. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that we're gonna have to come together willingly or unwillingly. You know?
Yeah, we got to come together because
And coming together don't mean doing the same thing or agreeing on everything. That's not what unity means. You understand?
Yeah.
That's not unity, that we gotta agree on everything. But it seems like when we disagree, we gotta go out our way to make our disagreement public.
Yeah.
We always have to go out our way to let it be known I don't agree with her, or I don't agree with him, or I don't like her, I don't like him. And I think part of the reason that we do that as a people is because we suffer from self-esteem issues. You understand? And your self-esteem is how you value yourself. But your self-esteem is based on having a proper self-concept, what you think about you. But you can't have a proper concept of self if you don't know self. You understand? And again, we have been miseducated, and we have failed to try to educate ourselves. So we just have to do more work internally. You understand? On our soul, on our head. You understand? And when we begin to do that, then you'll begin to see our community improve. But it's not going to improve by there's not no magic dust, stop the violence dust. There's an event is not going to stop the violence. A march or a rally, that's not going to stop the violence. That's just something to bring awareness to the violence, but underneath or behind that, there has to be a program. You understand? That the people can use.
So
that's real.
So basically what you're saying is it's best to start having programs for the kids.
No, I'm saying not just them, the adults need programs. The whole community need programs. You understand? Our parents need programs on how to parent. You understand? The Bible says in the book of Hosea, the 4th chapter, the 6th verse, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. See? The lack of knowledge. See, what knowledge? The knowledge of who we are. Not who this country told us we are, but who God created us to be. You understand? It didn't say my people are destroyed because they ain't got nothing to do. And that's how we try to oversimplify. Man, our youth need something to do. So you telling me that because a 12-year-old don't got nothing to do, he just went and shot 3 people?
That's crazy.
See, it's more nuanced than that. You understand what I'm saying? It's more complex than that. But when we try to oversimplify it and act like, well, see, if our youth had a job, listen, I'm sorry. Because he ain't got no job. He went out and just committed mass murder.
Yeah, that's not. And that they
see, those are factors, those are situational attributes that contribute. Those are mitigating factors that contribute. But it's not the cause of it. It's not the root of it. And our misdiagnosis of the violence, I think this allows us to massively affect it. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that not having love for self is the root cause of hate, dislike, disunity, disagreement, quarreling, betraying, fighting, snitching, and killing one another. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else?
That's true.
But if you don't know yourself, then how can you love yourself? You understand?
Right.
So it's a very arduous task. It's not going to subside overnight because we have a rally or we have a march. No, that brings awareness to the violence. But there has to be a plethora of things in place, you understand, for our community to be an actual community again. And that's why I wanted to talk about the North Peace Agreement. You asked, do I reach out to celebrities? I reach out to a lot of them. Why? Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught us that peace with the righteous code supporting it produces love. See, there's 18,000 police departments in America. There's over 900,000 police officers. How many conflict resolution centers do we have?
6.
Conflict resolution centers.
Oh, I don't know.
But there's 18,000 police departments in America. But how many conflict resolution centers does the black community have? Somewhere that we can go, talk, you understand, and iron out our differences.
You mean like one in each state, you saying?
I'm saying
period.
I'm saying period. But we got 18,000 police departments. So what do we have to help us resolve our issues?
Yeah.
See, we need something. We've never been taught properly that when you have a disagreement with your brother or sister, there's an appropriate and a proper way that you engage when you have disagreement or when you in conflict. But we think when we have conflict, that means, man, I gotta shoot that nigga, or I gotta kill you. That's how our conflict ends. You understand? But there are mechanisms in place, you understand, tools to the trade of resolving your issues and your conflict. So we came up in North with something called the North Peace Agreement. And we have 6 terms that we are asking our brothers and sisters in the street organizations to look at them, agree to, you understand, and abide by. Because, brother, gang conflict, and I say this with all due respect, is really an obsessive compulsive disorder. And I want you to think about it. When you have neighborhoods that's been going back and forth for 5 years, 10 years, see, that's an obsession. Yeah. Meaning that your mind is preoccupied with a repetitive behavior of what? Killing him or her who you call your ops.
Yeah.
See, that's an obsessive compulsive disorder. Yeah. You understand? So again, we have a lot of personality issues in our community that have not been addressed. When that brother gets shot, them children, we seen the video where the brother was shooting.
Oh yeah, about 2 kids.
Did we take them children to any type of counseling or therapy?
They never get to go.
Where's the grief counseling? And this is what I'm saying. Our communities are war zones. Yeah. We see people get their brains blown out, shots fired, and there's never any counseling or therapy. Yeah. For those that witness that type of behavior. Most of the brothers that been in cars and somebody was killed, did you get any therapy, brother? No, sir. So you walking around carrying that charge on you. So now that affects how you engage and how you interact with others. Yeah. See, but these are the complexities of the violence that happens in our community that's not being addressed. This thing is deeper than a rally or a march. Again, those things are good. But we really have to begin to get to the root of it. You understand? Not put a Band-Aid on it, brother, but get to the root of it. You understand? So that another generation don't have to deal with what we had to deal with. How can we pass down trauma and violence to another generation? Then what kind of men and human beings are we, brother Don?
It's true. Yeah. You're right.
Brother, we need crisis intervention and we need radical solutions. But can I just read these?
Yeah, please
go. Yeah.
The No Peace Agreement. Number 1, we agree that all public places are safety zones, such as schools, religious institutions, park, recreation centers, shopping centers, public places. I seen another video in New York. Brother was on the back of the motorcycle. He just went shot in the park. You can't have a sustainable community where there's no boundaries. Then we said number 2, we agree not to invade each other's hoods. Number 3, we agree not to use this agreement as a trick or backdoor to do each other harm. Number 4, we agree that once 2 hoods or organizations agree to the terms of peace, we will pick trusted and respected people from those hoods or organizations to maintain that peace through bi-weekly meetings and open communication. Number 5, we agree not to use social media to argue, sneak diss, or glorify the killing of a member of another hood or organization. If we hear that any rumors or gossip about ourselves and someone we have had an issue with, we will allow those whom we pick as mediators to look into it. Number 6, we agree to use ourselves and our personal relationships to look into, mediate, resolve all issues and conflicts involving us.
So who came up with this?
Myself, my brother Byron, another brother Shadi, working hard and North. Again, we wanted to institutionalize a set of terms, you understand, that our brothers and sisters in the street can use to create some boundaries and some parameters that will help us to mediate our conflict. Now, this is not the panacea, you understand, but this is a step on a staircase to our transformation. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But we gotta have a better way to resolve our conflicts. And if you ask a lot about brothers and sisters, what was that over? A lot of times it's a misunderstanding. Yeah. Something minute and small that a conversation could have resolved it. But what? There was nobody actively involved or interested, you understand, in that segment of the population. Like in the city of North, they say that 62% of the crime is only done by 4% of the population.
That's right.
And that's in a lot of these major cities. It's not a massive group of people doing the killing. It's a small select group. But they have been neglected. Nobody have cared about them. You understand? But if we can show concern, now we interested. You have an advocate, absent the police, you understand, who want to work with you and help you. Then I think our brothers will begin to know that there's an alternative than just the police that can help them solve the issues.
So if like, if any of the listeners and the viewers, they want to hear more about what your message,
Yes, sir.
or you can introduce them to like resources or anything of that nature, how can they get in touch with you?
I'm on Instagram, Abdul_Haqq, HAQQ_Muhammad, MUHAMMAD. Facebook, same thing, Abdul Haqq Muhammad, and Twitter. You can also go to conflict. What is your Instagram, brother Brian? Conflict resolution consultant. Conflict resolution consultant. You can also go to New Direction, 1 with 8, and you can find us on there.
So can you leave us with a closing statement before we end the show?
Yes, sir, brother. Well, again, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have taught us that one of the things that separates man from beast is knowledge. He teaches us that he who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes the circumference of your activity. It says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So it all starts with this, Brother Don. A new thinking. And a new thinking will produce new action and new behavior. So we just got to continue to feed ourselves and our souls that which will, uplift our communities and ourselves. So all praise is due to Allah.
All praises.
All praises. Can you tell everybody what podcast show you're on right now, my brother?
Oh man, 139 The Beat with Brother Don.
Yes.
The Beat 139 with Brother Don and my brother Doc and Don. Man, I'm so honored to be here again on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Thank you, brothers, and I pray God will continue to bless you and increase you, brothers.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. You keep this, Brother Don. Keep that with you, black man.
We're gonna hold on to that.
Thank you so much.
Up next is Aisha Shakur.
Oh, Sister Cool. I should know for that strong name. I should know.